have a voice of warning. Don't learn this the hard way like I did. But Canada Dry is ginger ale. Canadian Dry has alcohol in it. So don't mix them up when you go to Canada. Poutine. My favorite foods were I loved the fresh carrots that I ate in Grand Prairie. They also have Saskatoon berries, which aren't as delicious on their own, but when made into pie, are pretty good. One spiritual highlight was that the last 2 areas I served in, at first were all, in essence, were the same ward when I very first got transferred there. And about 2 or 3 weeks into my first area, the ward split. And so I had worked with some people that then got split, but so we still kind of kept in contact because they were the ward next door. And one was a lady who had been investigating the church for about 10 years, and her husband is a member, I think a pioneer stock member, very rich family history of Latter-day being in the church. And she had been coming to church for years off and on, and she had recently had a baby. And a great thing about Canada is you get a year of maternity leave, which is so wonderful. So she was on her paid maternity leave and had started attending church again. She had started her own mommy fitness class for some of the ladies in the ward so they could exercise together in the winter, and she was really involved, and she started gaining more and more of a testimony because she was more actively engaged in living the gospel. And I worked with her for basically the last year of my mission. And in the last two transfers of my mission, the third to last transfer of my mission, she kind of said, you know what, I am not giving up coffee. This just isn't for me right now. So we just decided to focus on the Book of Mormon with her and read from the Book of Mormon with her. And literally a week later, she called us and said, "Sisters, I'm ready to be baptized." It was so amazing. And it just proved to me that God doesn't need us to do his work. He does his own work in his own time and in his own way. And we just get to be there for the ride. And as we were faithful missionaries, as we were trying to work hard and we had tons and tons of weaknesses, God accomplished his own work and just let us be there for a part of it. So she ended up getting baptized, and the whole ward was there to support her. And a year later, when I went back to Edmonton, she let my family stay with her family, and she bore her testimony in church, and it was a overall beautiful experience. I don't remember any language mistakes, but my trainer was trained by a Canadian, and so my trainer cared a lot about sounding Canadian, and she cared a lot about me sounding Canadian. And so she would, if I was saying anything that sounded too American, she would help me understand that that's not how we spoke there. And I really appreciated that about her, that she really helped me want to embrace the culture and the language. So I got lots of Canadian speaking lessons. I think transfers in general are hard, especially when you've really come to love your companion or the members, or multiple times I got transferred right before baptisms. And in general, that's the way missions go, and in general it's hard. But there are huge blessings that come from going through transfers, and one of the biggest ones I've seen in my life is a confidence that God always gives you more in the future than you give up in the past. So if you're following and really trying to be submissive to his will, then he'll open new parts of your heart that you didn't even know existed, and he'll mend the wounds that come from leaving people that you love. I miss the camaraderie of being a missionary. I loved the missionaries that I served with, and there were so many of us all in such a small area. I think it was the bane of our mission president's existence because he didn't want us spending time with other missionaries, but you were always running into people because of different overlapping things. So I miss that camaraderie. I love there's a culture in Canada of eating healthily and of exercise, and I think that's a really fun part of their culture that I really miss. I also miss just having an excuse to talk with people about the gospel all the time, which we should have anyway, but it's a little bit easier as a missionary to just have that excuse to bring up something that's so important to you.